All right, good morning and welcome in. It is Mornings at Meridian here on News Talk 102.1 WALT Meridian. Hope everybody's doing well here on this Wednesday morning. It is very chilly out there. We're hanging right around the freezing mark right now at 9 minutes into the 7 o'clock hour. Of course, lots of ways to stay connected to the show this morning, and you can be a part of the show at 601-485-9191. Of course, we are online, WALTmeridian.com. You can listen to the live stream there, and we're also on Facebook, Facebook Live, and right now, WALT Talk Radio. Search us, like us, follow us. We got our YouTube page, and of course on X, formerly Twitter. So we're all over the place this morning, so you can stay connected a lot of different ways.
Now, if we're on X, are we X-rated?
I hope not.
Okay. Well, I'm just curious. I mean,
I hope not.
If you're rated on X, are you then X-rated?
That is the After Dark show.
Well,
that is the After Hours.
That's Mr. Musk.
That's the After Hours show. So.
Highly rated on X.
Absolutely.
That means we're X-rated.
You got Rob behind the buttons this morning, and Charles Frazier. There he is. Good morning.
Hanging out over here.
Absolutely.
Not pushing any buttons.
Roger out again today.
I don't know who that is anymore. Who's this Roger guy?
We've got a lot to go over this morning. A lot of stories, local, state, national. So, and of course, you can be a part of the show at 485-9191. And a lot of local stories, including traffic flow in downtown Meridian. Of course, big story coming out yesterday from WTOK we'll get into coming up as Meridian is working to improve traffic flow in downtown. And that could lead to other areas, I hope, that could lead to better traffic flow in Meridian.
Right.
Good
Maybe it's the start of something great.
Absolutely.
All right.
A lot of great Christmas events coming up this week. Of course, we'll tell you more about that. Got some exciting guests coming up on the show tomorrow that we'll preview. And other stories, investments here in Mississippi as far as industry and whatnot. And the Magnolia Tribune released a very interesting article kind of laying out $7 billion plus in industry that has come to Mississippi since 2020. But, of course, there is one glaring absence from that list.
Okay, $7 billion with a B.
That's right. So we'll get into that coming up. Also, got a whole bunch of other stories to get into. And, of course, the playoff 4 is out for the final time before we get into conference championship weekend. So, very busy show this morning. Very busy show. So, but 485-9191. Let's kick off the show this morning by thanking our friends up north in Philadelphia. They're at Doc's Toyota. Of course, what do we always say? There's no deal like a Doc's deal.
That is exactly right. And, not all Toyota dealerships are the same. They've really got it going on at the Doc's. They've got 5-star service in sales and service for their vehicles and in everything that they do. Of course, they've got a huge inventory of brand new Toyotas. 2024s are coming in as well, but they've also got some 2023s. All that inventory is available online. You can check it out at docstoyota.com. They also have a huge inventory of used vehicles as well, and all of those used vehicles have been through the pre-owned multi-point Toyota inspection process. It's a good quality car if you're getting it from Doc's. Just go see him up on Highway 16 West in Philadelphia, Mississippi. Give him a call, 601-781-8017. Of course, the best way is just to point and click. Go to docstoyota.com. And when you're ready to buy, just remember there is no deal like a Doc's deal.
Charles, having a business in downtown Meridian, what is your thoughts before we talk about this story with the city of Meridian and them trying to fix the traffic flow problem? What are your feelings about the lights in downtown?
For the most part, I don't have too much of an issue with it. I think that they're fairly well coordinated. Going up 22nd Avenue toward the hospital, sometimes you get stuck on one of those.
Yeah.
But it's rare that they're usually kind of green, so they're all kind of coordinated that way. There is a bit of an issue when you're coming down Front Street, heading towards I guess 39, that area, towards Marion, if you will.
Right.
What is that, east? But where you're stuck at Front Street and 22nd Avenue over the bridge, sometimes that light is very fast. So you got to be ready to go, no checking out your phone, you know what I mean? You got to be, it's green, let's go.
Yeah.
And because sometimes it's literally like a 2-3 second light, and you're like, well, that was it. Okay, I guess I'll wait for the next one.
Well, the city of Meridian announced yesterday that they are working to fix what they're calling problems with traffic lights in specifically the downtown area. Now, I will say this. There are lots of other spots in Meridian that could use some attention as far as timing goes on lights, but we'll get into that in a second.
And let me backtrack a little bit because, I do work downtown, but when I leave downtown, I go lightless. So I pretty much, I park on 4th Street, and then I either go through a parking lot and back around to Constitution, and then on Front Street. So I'm avoiding all those lights, and then I'm just going down Front Street back home. So that's my testimony, if you will, is maybe not as accurate as a lot of other people who are driving throughout downtown on a more regular basis.
Absolutely. Meridian Public Works Traffic Systems Manager, that's a long title.
Wow.
Jeffrey Pierce said in an interview with TOK yesterday that now as we have detection, which is in the form of a video camera, which of those things you see up on top of, the big arms there on the traffic lights, and what they do is basically they're just shooting the video of the
shooting.
Yeah, you can't say shooting in Meridian.
Oh, come on.
The video of that particular side street, and you go into the program, and it's a pretty complex process from what he's explaining right here. But the detection system has already been put in along Sela Ward Parkway, 22nd Avenue, 23rd Avenue, as well as 14th Street. Now, the detectors are a way to make traveling through Meridian, downtown Meridian, more effective and efficient for drivers. New detectors downtown are currently going up, but they are taking longer than planned due to the age of the older systems, I guess, that are already in place right there. So, so you'll see probably a lot of city folks and engineers and whatnot be working on that over the next several days, according to this report right here. So, downtown, I think, is the spot that they're going to begin with, or they're more focused on right now.
Sure. Okay.
So there you go. So so you might see a different traffic flow now in downtown Meridian. So,
and he did say that there is, I think, when a car pulls up, there's going to be, if it's just one vehicle, there'll be a 4, 5, 6 second light.
Yeah.
So
But that is the frustrating part.
Don't hang out on your phone at the red light because you're going to miss that green, and then
because I know a lot of folks have said, like, if you're coming through there at night, you get hung at one of those lights, it just sits there, and it's like, I'm the only one here,
right?
And this detection is supposed to.
Of course, if you went through that red light because you're the only one there would be somebody else there too.
Sure, absolutely. That's usually
there the blue lights go.
That's usually the way it works.
No green light. I got red lights and blue lights. Yeah, that's it.
But okay, they're going to do this. Great. Okay, that's fine. But we were talking about before we got on the air this morning, there are so many other parts of Meridian where the lights are I don't know if it's just the timing or there's so much traffic going into certain parts of these areas that I don't know if the city can maybe improve on some of the timing of the lights, but there's 2 spots in particular we were referencing off air a few minutes ago. One of those is the 4-way that you are making the left to go into Sam's.
Yeah.
That right there can get jammed up in a hurry, especially this time of year when everybody's doing their Christmas shopping and whatnot, especially, bulking up for the holidays at Sam's or whatnot. Yeah, a check's in the mail.
Right.
And but that is one area right there. And, of course, a few clicks up on the other side of the overpass, those 2 lights back to back are pretty too.
Right.
So, but I don't know if they can improve on that or not. But
a lot of it seems to be. I don't know why we need this complex detection system. You would think that there would be a traffic flow analysis and that they would just time them so that they're both green at the same time and both go red at the same time. But the way that they have them staggered is one turns green and one's red, and so. If you're heading southbound on 19 towards Bonita Lakes Park,
sure,
then the first light will turn red. The second one's green, or the one closest to Bonita and the overpass is red, and the other one's green. So traffic's continuing to back up and crosses into that intersection, and people kind of don't know what to do. Eventually, it turns green, and then that traffic moves, but. why not have them both red, both green at the same time?
Well, the most frustrating thing too is when folks are making that left-hand turn going into Sam's right there, which is a very busy. I would argue to say it's probably the busiest left turn in Meridian because it gets jammed up pretty quickly.
It's quite a title.
I mean, it really is. I think it's one of at least the top three. But
we have a ranking: left turns in Meridian.
The left turns in Meridian.
Number one, coming in at number one.
Well, and on the flip side of that, on that right lane right there. A lot of folks make the old right to go get some God's chicken, as I like to call it, Chick-fil-A. But if you have that one car that is not turning right but is going straight instead, and then you got a whole bunch of folks behind trying to turn right, that could back up in a hurry. And then
turning right at the red light.
And I've seen this before too. Folks that are not familiar with driving in Meridian, there are folks from out of town. Sometimes they accidentally make that right turn onto frontage road, and that's a one-way. And then you got another issue altogether.
I've done that.
I think a lot of folks have done that that are not familiar with it. And then you got another problem right there. So, it means, are there other areas to look at? Obviously. But have they possibly looked into it? I hope. But yeah, those are just two areas that just kind of came to the top of mind earlier.
Well, I guess they're just kind of solving one issue area at a time, and maybe that's next on the list.
Yeah. So I just know I'm that one guy. I'm like, would you get out of the way? Dumb trying to go get my Chick-fil-A.
Just lean on the horn.
There you go. You start talking about traffic and the phones light up.
They do.
Let's go to the phone line. Hey, caller, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, now.
I got an issue. I just want to know about if y'all know anything about all them turn lanes they got on 39 out there by the BMW motors there.
Oh, with the new construction.
Yeah.
That's about confusing, isn't it?
They ain't nobody been working there for the last 2 months.
That's I was heading through there yesterday, and I thought the same thing. They have all of the. I guess the road closed signs on what would be turnarounds.
The cones still up.
Yeah, the cones are still up. But yeah, you're right. Nobody's been working out there for a while.
Yeah. I mean, they was working night and day there for, back in the summer, and then all of a sudden just quit.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just thought y'all might have heard something.
No, we haven't heard anything about it because I thought that project would have been done by now because it looks.
It's about 90% done. It really looks like they got to take the cones down and then open up those turn lanes, but.
Yeah, from just driving through there, it looks complete. So, but I don't know what else they got to do.
All right, good man. Y'all keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Merry Christmas to y'all.
Merry Christmas to you.
You too.
All right, 601-485-91. Now, that's another great question about this area right up the road here from the station on 39.
We want answers.
Exactly. So, because you still see the signs up that says shoulder closed. Like I was making a left right there at the light close to Harry Mayer's yesterday coming from the marketplace, and they still have the shoulder closed. And I was thinking the same thing. I was like, there's nobody out here working.
Right.
I was like,
where are the people?
I was like, are we done
They're
yet?
on a break.
So, but.
Well, and, that if we're getting into traffic and once again, the 39 North Hills, if you're going from North Hills onto 39, it's kind of ridiculous, I think, the way that turn lane goes in. It does not merge. It's an actual right turn lane now.
Right.
But more importantly, I think that by the BMW dealership, there has been a lot of accidents of people crossing 39. Obviously, the reason is because there's a lot of flow between those 2 points. On one side, the AT&T side, if you will,
sure.
or Woodstock, whatever you want to call that side, going to the BMW side, people cutting across 39 quickly. And, so what they've done now is eliminated that intersection so that you have to go onto 39, then almost do a U-turn. Well, the traffic flow is not going to stop. There's still that demand to get from point A to point B across 39, which means now you're going to have people going very fast, trying to get over and making that U-turn, and then coming around the other side on 39 and darting in front of traffic again. So I don't know. I'm not a traffic expert. It just seems to me that didn't solve the problem. You're just creating another problem by eliminating people, going straight across.
Texter writes into the show, worst ill-thought mistake, making south on bridge one lane. Never see anyone walking across bridge. Clogs traffic on Front Street going east. The old walking across the bridge.
Talk about Rogers Light, too.
The Rogers Light. Yeah, we didn't bring that up.
Just put it all on the table.
I should have saved this story for tomorrow. Wow, Roger. You know what? I'll just bring it up again tomorrow.
Yes, we'll do it, yeah.
Just bring it up again tomorrow.
We're taping the show. Just replay.
So, your light. How's the traffic flow?
Justify that light again.
So, but that has always, since that happened in that area, that has been a little bit of an issue with some folks, that it has clogged up a little bit of traffic in that neighborhood right there across the bridge. And of course, how many folks are utilizing the walking portion of that across the bridge?
Well, I don't. I obviously we're right next to the bridge, but I don't really look over there too much. But when I do, I never see anybody walking over it. So that's not an indication, because I'm checking it out once a week, or a couple times a week. But anyway,
it's called we had to use some federal dollars.
Well, and that was the stipulation of getting that federal money. So,
exactly.
But I wonder how long that lasts, and if we can get federal money to then remove that sidewalk and go back to 2 lanes.
Yeah, Mr. Pierce there with the City of Meridian Public Works went on to say another thing about detection is that if you have a car on the side, say it's one car that comes up on a side street, I guess you would say maybe up 22nd on one of those side streets right there, it is going to have what they call a minimum amount of green, which may be 5-6 seconds on one of those side streets. Once that car goes, if no car pulls up, then it's going to go back to the main street. So that shortens your wait time as opposed to being on a timer. So, just kind of bear that in mind, too. If you're coming up one of those side streets, maybe where they're talking about right here on 22nd. What are the other streets that we referenced right here? 23rd and 14th is where they're looking at right now. So if it's up one of those side streets right there, green's only going to last for a few moments if you're coming up one of those side streets. That's going to take some adjusting, too, if you are a regular traveler up those side streets to jump onto one of those thoroughfares right there. So yeah, that's instead of the timer, they're going to go with the detection system on these particular areas. So obviously those other areas that we mentioned, like 19 and other parts, are on the timer still, obviously.
Well, and it's important to have a good, kind of the traffic flow, because obviously we want to increase traffic downtown for shopping and entertainment and that sort of thing. But I wonder what the cost of all this is. And
right, that is not mentioned
where's
here.
Where's that money coming from? I bet it's coming from the police budget. How much do you want to bet?
You went
$9 million.
Pick scab.
Oh, ouch. Yeah.
Well, I've got more scabs to pick this morning, so just get ready. But yeah, so they're going to be working on this in a lot of the downtown areas over the next several days, I would imagine. So just be on the lookout for that. So the flow will be somewhat better, I guess, in those areas. So we'll see how it all works out.
We like the flow.
That's right.
You just got to go with the flow sometimes.
Yeah. 601-485-9191. If somebody has an update on what's going on with 39, if that's looking any better out there. Like I said, the caller brought up a good point about it looks complete, but signs are still up and cones are still up. So
a little stagnation there. Well, a whole lot, actually. But anyway, yeah, but he's exactly right. It's been, I would say, at least a month since I've seen anybody working there, but I haven't been tracking that. So he said longer than that, and it could have been.
And the one thing that always frustrated me about that portion of highway in Meridian, when folks would get up to the turn lanes, they do not know how to properly use the turn lanes.
Like, they can't use their turn signal either.
They can't use their turn signal because when you get another car coming up in front of you, one's making a left, one's making the other left, and they don't know how to get in those lanes properly. And it's just like, man, did you not pay attention in driver's ed?
I mean, come on, did anybody?
Because you're supposed to go to the.
I got an A in driver's ed.
You're supposed to go to the far side. That way you can see
each car
the
goes
flow.
around.
That side can see the flow, and you both go out. It's that easy, but I see people butchering that all the time.
Well, on 39 they do, and because on 39 a lot of times they're not turning left; they're doing a U-E. Which doesn't justify that, but I think that the thought process is different. If I'm going to do a U-turn, I want to get the tightest turn that I can and not do the proper go around the other vehicle type thing. So, if you're making the turn onto, making a left turn, then maybe things are, I don't know, maybe not.
Well, it looks like what they've done, though, over here on 39, if you've noticed, through all the traffic cones and everything, they have made little small lanes for you to get in a turn lane now. So some of that,
yeah.
some of that will be avoided in some aspect. But when will that open is the big question.
It should be very clear. You know, they don't have I don't think they have any signs up. There may be arrows painted on the asphalt in those turn lanes. I think there's some indication, but you know,
But
once again, I'm not paying that close attention to it. As I
But
drive past.
speaking of traffic, of course, do be careful. North Hill Street, they're beginning that process. Starting, they actually started it Monday. I was on that side of town Monday, and they were starting to do some of the overlay work on the main drag there at North Hill. So just be aware of
But
that.
like one lane at a time.
One
And
lane
so
at a time,
I guess
so-
theoretically it's a 5-lane road because you got that middle turn lane as well. So that
Correct.
shouldn't impede traffic too much.
Yeah, but some folks just won't pay attention though.
No. Like, yeah, you think?
And the
Some folks
last
never pay
the
attention.
last gripe I have
Oh, come on.
about traffic in
about
Meridian.
traffic. All right. We'll limit that.
The person who made the decision when you're coming up to 39, four-way, you got the Hardee's, Winn-Dixie, that four-way right there. When you're coming up North Hills to the light, that turn right onto 39 is the biggest bleep up in Meridian traffic history.
I agree.
Whoever did that, made that decision,
Right.
whew,
It's no longer a merge
it's
lane.
no longer a merge
It's like,
lane.
what's the point of that?
It's
Why did we do all this? You just made it worse.
And then I noticed something else as I was coming back here to the radio station because I always, cut across and take the back way over there, coming up Newell Road over here.
Yeah.
When you're going straight on that at that light, they have narrowed that turn left, going back over to 39, like going back up to the Robert Barham Family Funeral Home
Yeah,
up
if
in
you're
that
going north
area.
on 39.
They have
Okay.
narrowed that turn lane down so much, you back up traffic even more. Folks are turning because you've made that right turn such a wide thing that's not really a turn or a merge
It doesn't
lane.
even make sense. It's almost a 2-lane turn, but it's not. It's like a car and a half,
Yeah,
and it's not the merge. It's the exactly right turn. But
yeah.
okay,
It's not really a turn.
I don't even know what it is. It's
I know.
like stuck out there in the middle, and I don't.
See, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning. I'm just up here complaining about traffic
Well, I
in
didn't.
Meridian.
I was in a good mood till I got started with this.
Everybody's thinking it. We're just saying it.
That's our job, I suppose. Isn't
So
it?
Meridian traffic, it's always an adventure.
Yes, it is.
Just buy
That's one
some,
way to put it.
Buy some blinker fluid and everything will be fine.
Get some Valium, maybe.
All right, we're going to take a break. Got Fox News next, and we'll return. right, welcome back into Mornings in Meridian, 7:35, and boy, what a chilly start to the morning. Walked past the old, we got one of those temperature gauges outside, and it said 27, and I was like, wow. So, yeah, one of those days to go out and start the car up early.
I don't have one of those remote. I got to go out there and actually start it, but that's okay.
I'm spoiled. I was not even dressed yet. I went up to push the key, and I heard it go. Oh, he's privileged.
Yeah,
look at him.
so.
Look at him.
Yeah.
601-485-9191. Before we get into talking about our next advertiser, a great turnout last night at the tree lighting ceremony in downtown Meridian. A lot of folks braved the cold. It was a little chilly last night for the event. So, but a good turnout. Of course, a lot of different events leading up into parade time this weekend. Of course, you got the Bikers United for Children's 13th Annual Toy Run. That's going to be Saturday at the Hampton Inn. Kickstands will be up at 1. Our friends over at St. Patrick Catholic School will have their 7th Annual Candy Cane Dash. It'll be a 5K and 1K fun run this Saturday beginning at 8:30, and all the proceeds from the run will benefit the Centers for Pregnancy Choices. So you can register over at time2run.net. And Mary Hope's got a lot of big events coming up. Still Magnolias kicks off on Thursday night at the Meridian Little Theater. So, yeah, you name it, it's coming this week.
There is also Mary Meridian Market, I believe.
Market's coming,
at the Raleigh Center, and that's all day Saturday. Whew. So, yeah, lots of stuff.
Busy.
Of course,
indeed.
you know, we're all monitoring the weather because Saturday is supposed to be kind of a rainy day. Looking at half an inch of rain, something like that. So
yeah, we checked the forecast yesterday, which, by the way, we're checking in a little below the freezing mark, right at 30. But yeah, Saturday, boy, it was 70% yesterday. Now it's 100.
Oh, okay.
100% chance of rain on Saturday. It's going to be rain, and it's not off on Saturday night. So
you know, just a moment of optimism.
Okay.
The Weather Channel says 99%.
Oh, okay,
so it's
99.
Yeah, it's a little better than 100%.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
A 1% chance it won't rain. I guess there's always a chance, isn't there?
Right.
Yeah, the kids had, this a few years ago, they had a 100% chance of snow, and it rained all day.
Texter also writes in this morning, we were talking about traffic a good bit, and I totally forgot about this spot in Meridian, too, right there on 20. Once again, we go back to 22nd again. If you're leaving the Captain D's parking lot there on the drive-through, the exit right there at Captain D's, you cannot make a left right there because
you got to go downtown.
They've got one of those, I guess, what would you call them, planter displays
like
or whatever,
median type thing, neutral ground as we used to call it. But
so
anyway,
you can't take a left out of that drive-through right there. You have to, I guess, go right and maybe turn around somewhere. So
can you do a U-turn on 20 on Cedarwood Parkway?
I'm pretty sure some people have.
Yeah, I can do one. I'll tell you what,
exactly.
Ain't no cop around doing one.
Before we go to the phone call this morning, we got a few phone calls coming in. Let's thank our good friend Billy out in Calvert down at Southern Business Supply. And guess what, folks? If you go down Dale Drive, you can now go over the bridge to go see Southern Business Supply.
And there's no traffic light there.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it's just straight through. Yes, indeed. Of course, he's at 5685 Dale Drive. But the best way to shop at Southern Business Supply is just go online, southernbusinesssupply.com. Just click on what you want, and then it is there delivered to your office the next day. Boy, you can't beat that kind of service. SouthernBusinessSupply.com. Everything you need for your office. He even has furniture for your home or your office furniture, if you got a home office as well. But, of course, they have everything that you need for office supplies, janitorial supplies. They got those big 5-gallon spring water coolers, break room supplies, you name it. If your office needs it, he's got it down there at Southern Business Supply. Go to southernbusinesssupply.com, just plug in all your info, and then he's got a huge catalog of office supplies. Click, order, there the next day. Can't beat that. You don't have to, make time to go down to wherever, big box store, looking for the staplers.
Stapler.
Yep. No, just go to southernbusinesssupply.com. Of course, you can give them a call, too, 601-485-2447, or go check out their showroom, 5685 Dale Drive.
Got a Facebook comment real quick. Our good friend Tammy said that don't forget about the Sip and Shop downtown on Friday night from 5 until 8. So like I said, it's something just about every night.
Sip and Shop. Get loaded and spend lots of money.
There you go.
Uh-huh.
Honey, what's this credit card bill?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Let's go to the phone line at 485-9191. Hey, caller, good morning.
We run the SIP.
We run the sip. There you go. Sip and Sava, or Sip and Shop this time.
And back at Captain D's, a left will take you to the interstate, and a right will bring you right back here to me.
There you go. So, yeah, it's just another one of those fun traffic stops in Meridian.
I heard the other one, too, at Woodstock, the congestion down there. By the time you get to Woodstock, it's 500,000 strong. That's Crosby, Still, Nash.
Yeah.
I've been doing the choreography while you've been doing the location.
Well, I'm about to say, don't pull a hamstring.
Yeah. Foreigner lights when the lights go down the city.
There you go. Good Lord. What else is going on this morning?
Well, Monday when you guys went off the air at 9, I think there was maybe you call it national news, whatever the network does.
Yeah, Fox. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They had a report that I found very interesting and wanted to share because several times at elections I have mentioned on your station that my phone has gone out within the week before the election, within the week.
Mm-hmm.
4 or 5 times now. And I believe it was Roger one time replied, well, why would that happen? Well, on your news on Monday, not just after 9 a.m., they told that Congress will be investigating AT&T that has breached privacy records of, I think they said over 1 billion something customers.
Wow.
And has to do with the joint snooping involving federal letter agencies to spy on domestic phone customers.
So that's what they've been doing to you the whole time. They're spying on you.
I can't rule that out.
No.
Now, I will say this, just for the humor of it. It didn't happen when we had the coroner election the other day.
You know, I kind of feel left out that they're not spying on me. You know,
Yeah.
I guess I'm not doing anything controversial.
Don't wish that evil on yourself.
Well, that's a good point, but you know, my
I
feelings
got.
are.
You know, speaking of phone calls, and which this is a completely different subject, but last night I looked at my phone, it started ringing, and it said Michael Guest, and I'm like, oh,
Hey, Mike, what's up, buddy?
And I sent it straight to voicemail, and it was like, I want you to join me for this blah blah blah, some kind of a interactive town hall meeting, and I was like, okay, whatever, man.
Yeah, I'm busy. I'm watching TV.
I'm busy,
I'm
yeah.
watching a ball game.
Yeah.
All right.
I've heard one of those before.
Yeah, and of course Roger mentioned the Nikki Haley text message he got, inviting him to the the debate over in Tuscaloosa next week. So yeah, those are going out so regularly now, it's just unreal.
I quit getting fundraiser requests from Ted Cruz's office.
Seems like everybody gets one. I got a Trump email yesterday too, like you had mentioned. You
Get
got
them all
one
the time,
too.
yeah.
Give me your dollars.
Right.
I bet
That's right.
I bet it's Don really asking for them too.
I'm sure it is, Don.
Yeah.
Composing each email.
Exactly.
Yeah, another thing they had on there about that fundraiser was the Republican Party chairman, the Rana lady, that is disconnected, and in my opinion is they've got the lowest amount of money in the fund that they've had for, I don't know what they say, 20 or 30 years or something.
Yeah, that Ronna McDaniel is her name, I believe. She's the chair of the RNC, yeah.
Corona.
And really, you know, she almost did not get back in there because she got a pretty good challenger from this past go-arounds. They were trying to get her out of that RNC chairmanship, so.
And who wanted that position? My pillow?
Yeah.
Oh,
Boy,
man.
that would have been a change up.
Yeah, my pillow, my slipper.
Yeah, my slipper. Those things are comfy.
I got mine on.
There you go. Well, good
Well,
deal.
Enjoy chatting with you this morning.
You too, sir.
I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, 601-485-9191. So AT&T, they spying on you.
It is, but I think he should get together with Paul and do like a Paul Tarver, mixtapes with the music that he was talking
I
about.
know, right?
Like appropriate
Yeah.
stuff. Huh? How cool is that?
That could be Paul's next show. Songs about traffic in Meridian.
Oh, boy.
You could,
That's like a 2-part show right there.
that would be a
For the next
two-parter.
3 months, we've got. Right.
Every bit of it. So
Highway to Hell. I mean, we could just go on and on.
I
couldn't
love
we?
it.
Oh, boy.
485-9191 is our number. In other news this morning, I was referencing this story earlier this morning. We were talking about it off air, as Toby Bates always says, during your exhaustive show prep that we do every single morning.
Oh, I know.
Magnolia Tribune, who is a great news source, and I really encourage folks to read a lot of their articles. There's some good stuff. Well, yesterday, actually the day before yesterday, they posted an article, good read, the title of the article, headline, nearly $7 billion in corporate investment has come to Mississippi since 2020, which is great for the state, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the recruitment and expansion of business and industry through the state's main economic development arm, the Mississippi Development Authority, the MDA, is a main priority of any administration, including Governor Reeves. Since 2020, during the tenure of Governor Tate Reeves, Mississippi has been seen unprecedented corporate investment despite the initial national economic slowed down because obviously the pandemic had a lot to do with that. Mississippi did not remain closed, economically speaking. Of course, in the beginning, we had a lot of school closures and stuff like that, trying to navigate our way through COVID. But from homegrown Mississippi startups to international corporations, MDA's primary role is to build relationships with existing businesses in the state while seeking to attract new businesses looking to call the Magnolia State home by offering development assistance, of course, matching potential investments with possible state and local incentives. We heard that talked a lot about here locally. Of course, navigating local and state requirements and accessing talent from workforce training programs, colleges, and universities that provide a skilled, capable workforce across the state. Now, since January 2020, the MDA reports that it has assisted with nearly $7 billion in new corporate investment across the state, accounting for large projects from nearly 40 new industries located in Mississippi and the expansion of over 60 businesses that already called Mississippi home. These investments created and or saved upwards of 12,000 jobs. In 20 and 21, at the height of the pandemic, new corporate investment near $2 billion, and of course continued to rise. Of the 35 large-scale investments announced by the MDA in 2020, 19 counties benefited from the state's economic development efforts. The 5 largest projects in 2020 were Associated Wholesale Grocers in DeSoto County. That was a $300 million project. Calgon Carbon in Hancock County for $185 million. Mission Forest Products in Alcorn County, $160 million. Alcorn County, another one here. Kimberly Clark Industry there, $140 million. And Idaho Forest Group in Lamar County, $120 million. So 2020, pretty decent year there for industry here in the state, despite COVID. In 21, Brewer Lumber in Montgomery County, $130 million. Tyson Foods in Warren County, $61 million. Milwaukee Tool in Grenada County, $60 million. Jones, I guess some kind of an industry there in Forest County, which is near the Hattiesburg area, $40 million. A rail car service company in Lincoln County, $23 million. And then in 22, across 17 counties, some of those included Nissan, big Nissan plant over in Madison. That's a big one there, $500 million. Aniva in Stone County, $250 million. Claw Forestry in Emmett County, $200 million. Altex Tube in Lowndes County, $110. And then so far this year, Huber Engineered Woods in Noxubee County, right up the road, $418 million. Hood Industries in Perry County, $217 million. PACCAR in Lowndes, $209 million. Clark Beverage Company in Madison County, $100 million. And Cold Link Logistics in Jones County, south of here, $64 million. So pretty good last 2 or 3 years for the state as a whole, but I say all of that to say this. You notice one county that was not mentioned in that entire list.
Clark County? What?
Well, that. Yeah.
Okay.
Lauderdale County.
Oh, I was so close.
South of here, north of here, west of here. A lot of big industry, as we mentioned. You heard the names right there everywhere from, Milwaukee Tool to Nissan to these lumber companies
to all over the state, north,
all over
south,
the state,
coast.
Knoxville County, Jones County. I mean, you name it. It's
Right.
but $7 billion. I mean, good on the MDA there. Obviously, here in the state of Mississippi, doing a lot of great things. But as you noticed, Lauderdale County still not in the conversation.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a lot of investment here in the state, but just none here locally. But yeah, your thoughts?
My thought is why? Why not?
Yeah.
What
gives?
is it?
What gives?
And we ask ourselves that over and over and over again. And we had this conversation with the CTE actually when that whole
and they did put that as a portion of what they do in there. So,
and I think that that's a legitimate argument for expanding the CTE. I just think that the probably the way they presented that to the public was not
that was the big downfall.
Way. But I think most people support that and saying, hey, CTE is the way to go. But I think also $10 million may be enough as seed money anyway to get that thing rolling. But that's not really the point here. I think the point is that there's a lot of money being distributed throughout the state. But there seems to be a circle around this area, East Mississippi, where they say, that's the no-go area. And I don't know why that is.
I mean,
we seem to have everything in place.
You've got a county like Alcorn County.
Yeah.
In 2020, they got two pieces of industry, an investment of over $300 million at Mitt County, which is down in Natchez, which is starting to grow rapidly.
Sure.
Of course, Forest County, Lamar County, those areas
Perry
around
County,
Hattiesburg, Perry County. Of course, we mentioned
Lowndes
Knoxville
with a
County,
couple.
Jones.
Yep.
I mean, but it
Grenada.
all of these places, and of course, North Mississippi. We've talked a good deal about what they have gotten, and boy, how aggressive they are in expansion up in those areas. But for some reason, right here in a little old Lauderdale County, something's not budging. The needle is not moving, period, end of paragraph. And Texter writes in, just going to read it like it is, our EMBDC. Ask them to list their success. None. That's from a listener out there.
Okay. Chicken restaurant.
I like chicken. But that's we've talked about this on the show so many times. When will the needle ever move?
Right. Well, what we haven't done is identify what the problem is. We talk about it, and maybe it's this, maybe it's our local government, maybe it's our officials, maybe it's the MBDC, maybe it's our education system, maybe it's the crime rate, maybe it's there's so many different factors, but we have yet to identify what the real problem is. And what we need to do is figure out what that is and solve that.
Everybody else in the state seems to be figuring it out.
Before you can solve the problem, you got to identify what the problem is.
Yeah. So, but anyway, this is, it seems like we're coming back full circle again. But I thought that was a very interesting read, laying all of that out since 2020. You've seen how much
I'd love to see it
investment's
marked
done.
on a map, and you'd probably see them all around, except for that big hole in East Mississippi.
And like I said, when you look, just geographically in your mind, obviously Knoxville County north of here, Jones directly south of here, Madison County over in the Jackson area, Lamar and Forest County to our southwest, Mitt County on the edge down there in the southwestern portion of Mississippi, and some of those other counties in the north part. It's like north, south, southwest, west, but what about East Mississippi?
Sure.
So,
but even northeast Mississippi and southeast Mississippi, it's just not East Mississippi.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Let's go to the phone line. I figured they would start lighting up on this.
All right.
Bring it on. Good morning, caller.
How y'all doing this morning?
Oh, we're doing just beautiful.
I want to say something that's probably going to make a lot of people mad. But
Come on in here. Come on.
it is primarily the 8 or 10 families in this town that have been here forever. They do not want industry here. They do not want high-paying jobs. They can control what goes on in this town, and they have for the last 55 or 60 years. Like that or not, but that's just the bottom line. So you give them these big corporations tax breaks to bring them in, and they're not going to give the tax breaks, and they're not going to give the incentives that everybody else is given because they want to control the wages that they have to pay out to the people that work here in this town.
Right.
And we had a major worldwide corporation here, and he got rich off $5 an hour labor, and those people loved him, but it didn't change a whole lot, and you see where it's at now. It's gone.
Yeah.
So
Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
All right, appreciate it. We'll give you change later.
Yeah.
Hey, my friend, appreciate you out there. All right, 601-485-9191. Let's go back to the phone line. Hey, caller, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey.
That last caller ain't got a clue. There ain't no families trying to hold down wages in this town. That's a bunch of bull. It's kind of like an urban legend that floats around. I hear that every so often, and I don't believe a lick of it. People, if somebody in this town does have money, they're glad to see more money come here.
Mm-hmm.
They're not worried about the price of their labor going up.
What do you think is going to move the needle in this, though?
Well, so I think there's several things at play here, and some of it, there's many factors. I'll tell you one thing. Find a large piece of flat ground here in Lauderdale County. I mean, that sounds simple, but I'm just telling you, it's difficult to do. We've got geographically, you're talking about going up north, some of these places in North Mississippi, it's flat ground. There's large tracts of good flat ground. And when you're talking about building a multi-million-dollar facility and you got to do millions of dollars worth of dirt work before you get started, that's something to consider. Also, we're fairly highly populated right here in Lauderdale County, so that land is a little more scarce. There's not big open tracts of land that are to be bought up. If you wanted to buy, a large tract of land, you're going to have to deal with several dozens of landowners, all wanting different prices. And here's the thing, I get a little frustrated. There are lots and lots of good jobs in Lauderdale County. There are lots of surrounding counties that wish they had the healthcare industry that we had, that wish they had the education opportunities that we have here, that wish they had. I know we always joke about the hotels, like that's what we need is one more hotel. But there's a lot of places wish they had a few extra hotels. Those are jobs that wish they had all the restaurants that we had. Those are all jobs.
Yeah, and I hate to interrupt you, caller, but we got a Facebook comment up here, too, from Miss Lawanda. She brought up a good point. Residents not wanting to work, people being paid not to work. You know, because that really showed its ugly head in a big way during the pandemic. But I'll let you kind of carry on here. So.
Yeah, no, I agree. There's a little bit of that goes on, but there's a lot of factors at play. I mean, there's a lot of good jobs in this area, and it's not that there's some end-all, be-all of some manufacturing plant that's going to plop itself down here and it'll fix every issue in Lauderdale County. I personally believe that if Lauderdale County would just do what it's supposed to do, and I'm talking about the elected officials just make it a good place to live, whether that be through good roads and bridges, low taxes, low crime. The rest of it's all going to work itself out. I don't think that there's any one magic bullet that'll bring some industry here. We just need to, just do what we're supposed to do it properly. And there's a lot of good jobs here already. We've got some good, strong industries, and sometimes I think we're always trying to drag something new in here when there's some really, really good businesses here in town already.
Absolutely.
That's a valid point, yeah. And I think we need to, exactly, kind of count our blessings for what we do
Mm-hmm.
have. But,
when was the last time we tried to build up businesses we already have? I mean, we want to give tax dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, trying to incentivize things to come here. What about the businesses that have been here for 30, 40, 50 years that are involved in the community that are expanding and doing things, trying to do things? When was the last time some of them were given tax breaks and incentives to do more and hire more? You don't hear about that.
Yeah, taxes probably go up more than down.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So.
Well, and I think those are valid points, but when you look at this list, there does seem to be an exception for this area. When you're looking at it just kind of objectively and saying, okay, we've got all of this industry. And this article, Magnolia Tribune, had nothing to do and no mention at all of East Mississippi. We're just looking at it from our perspective saying there seems to be nothing that's around us, but the rest of the state has a lot of investment. So that's an observation, and the conclusions that are, that it leads to, well, you make your own conclusions from there. But I think you do bring up some good points about what we do have here, and we should celebrate the industry that we already have here. And that's a great argument kind of for Meridian and for what we got going on.
There you go. Well, caller, we hate to run, but we got that Fox News break coming up in 20 seconds. Appreciate you listening this morning.
All right, thanks for the call. Yeah.
All right, 601-485-9191. Folks, we'll be back in just a few. Stay with us. picking one scab at a time here on Mornings in Meridian. 601-485-9191. We're back on the air with you. Had to pay off some bills there, but we're going to be back on the air for a few more minutes here. 601-485-9191. Of course, on your radio at 102.1 FM. Online at WALTmeridian.com. Facebook Live. Lots of ways to stay connected with us throughout the morning. Before we get to our next phone call here, I need to thank one of our fantastic advertisers. You know, we were talking about traffic flow this morning.
Yeah.
And if you happen to
Not flow
correctly,
Right.
you need to call Premier Paint and Body.
Screen, it's red. Oh, right. You get a little ding, dent, scratch, or something worse. There's only one place to go in town. That's Premier Paint and Body, located right next to Johnson Dodge on Highway 39 North. They've been doing the best auto body work and quality paint jobs for over 30 years, and amongst their hard-working, dedicated crew, they've got over 100 years combined experience. Danny Shelton leads the crew. No job is too small or too large, even if someone just keyed your car. Has that ever happened to you, Rob?
No.
No.
Well, after today, there may be somebody coming.
Maybe a couple of people.
Yeah.
So if it's something like that or you hit a deer, either way, they're going to fix it at Premier Paint and Body. And, of course, they'll give you a free estimate. They'll work with your insurance company, and all of their work has a lifetime warranty. Write this number down, 601-482-PAINT, 601-482-7246. They're open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. And, again, located right next to Johnson Dodge on Highway 39 North. Premier Paint and Body.
Just a preview of the show tomorrow. We're going to have a couple of guests on the program. We're going to have the Sailor of the Year is going to be swinging by to see us. That is Master at Arms First Class Darius Cummings will be stopping by to see us for our visit with NAS Meridian. And also Lieutenant Roy Fisher with the Salvation Army will be swinging by to see us. Of course, it's Christmas time. The Salvation Army is looking for your assistance.
And special guest Roger Burke will be in.
That's right.
A cameo.
Allegedly.
Oh, right.
Let's go back to the phone line. Hey, caller, good morning to you.
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
I'm in peace, love everybody, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Mississippi, James, how are you?
Doing pretty good. Yeah, I want to look back on your, I think it was the last two callers.
Yes, sir, about the industry. Yes, sir.
Right, they had two totally different opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'm looking at it, trying to figure it out, hey, which one is right? But now you go back to Meridian become a certified retirement center. It leans toward the first caller point of view, that they didn't want Meridian to grow and they wanted to be a certified retirement center. So maybe you guys can bring me up to speed on that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, where did the certified retirement center fit it, take off? Where did the idea take off from?
We'll have to do some history book digging on that one. So,
yeah, well, I mean, as far as who started
that,
yeah, I think that's kind of a minor thing. It's just kind of like you have a certain number of hospitals, and I don't know if it even has anything to do with your geographical location as far as weather and things like that, but I think it really has to do with healthcare and amenities for the elderly as far as the centers and so on. So that and nursing homes, you got a certain number of them here. But I don't think that's a problem. The certification for that is probably nothing more than just put a couple of signs up and you're a certified retirement community. I don't think it means a whole lot though. Doesn't carry much weight.
Okay. All right, we'll leave it at that. But like I say, there's two opposing opinions there, so I'm just still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I think everybody's trying to figure it out. I think.
And interesting, they are opposing in a sense, but they're also consistent. One was just being positive about what we do have here, and recognizing that there are a lot of hospitals and there are some good jobs here. And I think the flip side of that is that, looking at what's going on around the state and saying, why aren't we getting those is a fair point as well.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have a viable economy without that manufacturing. I think it would just enhance us, and also we are primed for that sort of thing. And why aren't we getting it is the big question.
All right, then. You guys have a good day.
I appreciate you.
Thanks.
All right, 601-485-9191. And I brought up this article simply because, when I was preparing
You just want to
the
stir it up. I know why you brought it up.
Well, that too.
Okay.
And But really, when I read the article yesterday, and like I said, Magnolia Tribune is a great resource to. They cover state news very well, and just when I read that article yesterday, and I said, well, that's great for the state. And I prepared myself when you read down into the article. I was expecting to see, obviously the Knoxville County and Jones. We know about those being somewhat local to our area, but Madison and I saw Alcorn County and places
places in the Delta,
places that you did not expect to have this big industry. But we had someone call off the record a few minutes ago and we were discussing a few details about industry and whatnot in West Point, Mississippi. They're booming up in that area, up in the north part of the state, the Golden
Triangle. Yeah.
The crime per capita is higher in West Point than it is in Meridian, but yet they are still able to draw industry there. So I guess I bring that up to say this: let's don't blame it completely on the crime problem.
Sure, and I think their school system is probably less than what we offer here on the county and the city.
So we always kind of and don't get me wrong, crime is an issue. I'm not saying it's not an issue, but when it comes to it being connected to industry, it's not the complete problem.
No,
there's other underlying problems associated with it. So, and it would probably take us 5 shows to dig deep into all of them. So, let's go back to the phone line. They're busy. Hey, caller, good morning.
Well, I'm going to feed off of you for the West Point area as well as Oktibbeha Hall County. That's Clay County.
Yeah.
And Lowndes County. Okay, I'm going to drop a name on you. This is somebody you need to interview. His name is Joe Wiggins.
Joe Wiggins.
Joe Wiggins is the GTR economic developer up there. He is their head guy. So he's the one responsible for bringing in a lot of that business in up there. And I listened to an interview with him on a North Mississippi radio station several weeks ago, and I was telling a friend about it, and I said, you either admire it or you want to stick your head in the toilet and throw up. But to give you an idea of what it takes to bring in this industry, and he lays it out beautifully. To have a super site, it has to be 1,500 acres. Now, it can be developed for one industry or multiples. So when they were shopping for industry, that's how they got the aluminum plant. That's how they got the steel plant, the diesel engine plant. They build helicopters up there. They build trucks. Right now, he said they're building solar farms. So what has to happen to get a super site, you have to have 3 things going. Regional airport within 50 miles or 75 miles that has a carrier. Okay, we got that.
Bing, yep, we got that.
Rail system with 2 major carriers that intersect. Okay, I do believe we might have that as well.
I believe so, yep.
Okay, 3, you have to have educational facilities within 50 to 75 miles, and there's a reason for that. Okay, I think we checked the box off.
Yeah, we checked that one, obviously.
So, everything's there. What they've done is they've incorporated into their approach to bringing in industry the educational systems, realtors. They're all on a website to where a prospective industry can go to their website, look at everything that they offer, and then they schedule an appointment with them. Well, what they've done out at GTR Airport between Columbus and Starkville is they've built their offices out there. And I believe, and I might be wrong, but I believe it's either 80,000 square feet or 800,000. But I'm going to go with 80. I might have misheard that. But when a prospective client comes in their private jet rolls into their office, gets out of jet, walks into a presentation room, looks at what they have to offer, and they can have them on dirt within an hour. Right now, they've got about $3.8 billion in development going up there. So the Yakahoma, the tire plant is expanding. They projected 500 employees to begin with. They're at 700. The aluminum plant is going to expand. They have over 700 employees. And the diesel engine plant, I believe he said, is going to expand, and they have between 600 and 700 employees. They're also incorporating themselves with, I call it scuba tech, but they're getting students into there to teach them how to HVAC weld, that don't want to go to college, but they need to get good jobs, and they're actually employing them in these plants while they go to school. So when they come out, he said basically they could have dang near $100,000 jobs waiting on them. So, like in where they don't have rail, they're building solar farms. They're right now Mississippi State's got one that's being built. They're building a new one over there on a 5,000-acre stretch. So when you really see the big picture of what a economic development like a GTR is doing, they're playing championship chess, and we're playing tic-tac-toe.
Big time.
So
yeah, I just
you
caller, I hate to interrupt you. I just pulled up an article here from the Northeast Mississippi Daily Journal, and it is referencing the gentleman you just mentioned, and Mr. Higgins. It is the Lowndes, one of these organizations I believe he's involved in is the Columbus Lowndes County Economic Development Association. And in this article, they're referencing a lot of what you had mentioned. And folks, the investment in that area that is quoted in this article, $821 million investment and a creation of 1,200 jobs. And, of course, that's just kind of the tip of the iceberg on some of this stuff right here. But that was an article that was written back in August of this year. But, yeah, this guy's pretty darn impressive. So
yeah. And so even over there in the Columbus area, I think their next solar farm they're building now is 3,000 acres.
Yeah.
And it's in that area where Pricar is. So it is booming up there, but they have a combination of people working with each other, meaning the realtors work with them to say when they have prospective clients that are interested, they say, okay, to get in this school system, you're going to have to buy a house in this area. So when their boots hit the ground there, they've got people working on the background to say, okay, we can show you prospective real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the school system. They're all working in line with each other. They're not working against each other. So I will say this, the two callers before the break, one that said there are people that are holding economic development back in Meridian. I don't wholeheartedly disagree with that. Two, the next caller, I will say I agree with him, and that is, yes, it's going to be harder to prepare a site here because of the land development area of it. But Joe Wiggins, I'm telling you, you guys need to get him on the air because he went for 45 minutes, and I mean, it was jaw-dropping how impressive this guy is.
I tell you what, I'm going to work on that. I'm going to see if we can get him on the program. I'm definitely going to try to make that happen.
Good deal.
All right. Appreciate that information.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Good stuff.
Anytime. Good deal. Have a great day, guys.
Absolutely. 601-485-9191. Going back to this article that I pulled up here on the Northeast Mississippi Daily Journal, the projects underway in the Golden Triangle area, like I said, this article was written back in August, and represent investments totaling $821 million in the creation of more than 1,200 jobs in the area that features 261,000 residents located within a 50-minute drive. The lineup includes American Eurocopter, which announced the company had won a $75 million five-year government contract just as it was settling into its new 85,000 square foot manufacturing facility at the Golden Triangle Regional Airport. The subsidiary of Eurocopter, the largest manufacturer of commercial helicopters and European aeronautic, I can never say that word right, defense and space company. Of course, there's a lot of other jobs that are associated with that. That's just the tip of the iceberg there, Charles. I mean, 1,200 jobs and an $821 million investment for folks up there. So, but I like what that call reference right there. You've got people in the realtor business, education,
everybody
working together and not against each other.
Sure.
What a novel idea.
Right.
What a novel idea.
But they've set it up. So they've got offices at the airport. They fly in, boom, immediately you're met, and not, and the airport's great down there, but do they have any facilities like that? No. And I'm sure Tom Williams is down there greeting people, but
sure.
Is he a representative of the MBDC? No. I mean, he's not, and he's the airport authority. But, how impressive would it be to roll out the red carpet every time they come in?
Yeah, there was 5 projects also referenced in this article. Of course, I mentioned the aluminum plant being in that as well. So, but Golden Triangle is moving, and it's moving good.
And they got nothing we don't have.
Right,
nothing.
But you heard what the call referenced there: education system, airport, rail system.
all of that, yeah, and we
You-
check
you-
all those
you
boxes.
check all
that's
the
fine.
boxes, yeah.
The one box that we don't check is everybody working together.
Yeah.
That's where we
Darn right on
yeah.
that. Let's go back to the phone line. Hey, caller, welcome in.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How y'all?
Oh, we're just stirring the
Good.
pot and putting
Yeah.
some salt and pepper in it, you know.
Right, a little Tabasco.
Don't forget a little oregano now.
Give it some more flavor. What's on your mind this morning?
Well, I ain't calling no names, but here probably about 3 months ago there, if not longer there, they laid off 80,000 employees over there, Oxford.
Oh, at the hospital. Yeah.
Correct. They build them, they work them a while, and then here come Oscars in there and just messed everything up. I wish I had another hospital around here to go to. But 80,000 people, that's a lot of payroll.
Interesting.
I just thought I'd pass that on to y'all.
All right. Well, appreciate it. We'll throw it in the pot.
Thank you.
All right. Appreciate that. 601-485-9191 as we continue to roll on here on Mornings in Meridian. So, of course, the caller mentioned Oshner. Of course,
Yeah.
that's what Rush is now.
Sure,
So,
and he said 80,000. I wonder if that's throughout the whole group. And I know they've got a lot of hospitals throughout the Southeast. So I know that there were some layoffs here locally, but you know, a few hundred. But
before we get to our next break here, we're a couple of minutes away from that. I need to thank one of our great advertisers. Who we got on the list next?
We got Martin Roofing. Yes, Doug and Doug. Give them a call, 601-485-5920, just like the interstates that run through town. That's easy to remember. They've been doing roofing right for over 30 years. Locally owned and operated. Of course, you see their signs everywhere. It's almost like they were running for corner. Yes, but nobody's running now because we do have a new corner, and you've got a roofer as well in Martin Roofing. 601-485-5920 gets you in touch with Doug Martin Jr. or Doug Martin Sr. They'll come over, give you a free estimate, and inspect your roof for damage. Of course, they're a member of the Better Business Bureau. Just great folks over there at Martin Roofing, and they're honest. An honest roofer. We love them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Appreciate them so much. Real quick, of course, everybody's heard the news by now that yesterday in the Murdaugh trial, the financial situation.
Oh, yeah.
They did come back with a verdict yesterday on that. Murdaugh's going to get 27 years. Of course, he's serving those back-to-back life sentences already. The South Carolina Circuit Judge Clifton Newman sentenced Alex Murdaugh to 27 years for his financial crimes. Of course, he's already serving those 2 life terms for the 21 murders of his wife and son. So, that story.
Just tag on a few more years.
Yeah, it kind of hit a big fever pitch. Everybody was following that trial pretty closely. But that was it's always not the murder trial, but the financial part of it is not as compelling, I guess.
No, not at all.
So add 27 onto your 2 life
just
ones.
Stick it on there.
There you go. We're going to take a break here on Mornings in Meridian. Back to more of your phone calls in just moments. Stay with us. Good choice. Like it.
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, love it. Well, I got, it's Christmas music, so like I told you, I've got
It's
about
a different flavor.
I've got about
of
10
Christmas
hours
music.
of Christmas music starting
Every
about
day.
9, so
Every day.
yeah. I don't even hear it anymore.
Little
Like,
Trans-Siberian Orchestra. And of course, we are in the Christmas season. A lot of Christmas events happening all over the city of Meridian, Lauderdale County this week. Of course, had the tree lighting ceremony down at City Hall last night. And, boy, parade, just you name it, it's happening this week. So hope everybody gets out there and enjoys some of it. Let's head back to the phone line, 601-485-9191. Hey, caller, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Finally got in. Been trying for
I know,
2.5 hours.
it's been busy. It's been busy.
Yeah. Okay. Earlier, I think it was the first caller that called about industry not coming in because there's some people in Meridian that don't want it to come in. They're powerful people. They're rich people. I don't know what.
Right.
I've heard this for years. The same thing. I've heard it for years, but I've never heard anybody mention a name. If you're concerned, industry out, call them out by name.
No. Yeah. Hey, it's fair.
Huh?
It's
Huh?
fair. That's fair.
Does that sound reasonable?
I totally agree.
If there's that many people in Lauderdale County that are upset because a few people are keeping industry out, start naming these people, call up the radio station, call out names. These are people who are doing it, and I know they're doing it, and here's the reason why I know they're doing it. Give some specifics. And then let the people of Lauderdale County put pressure on these people. Huh? Expose them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How else are you going to stop it if that's the reason? Like I said, I've heard it for years and years and years. I would figure by now most of these folks are dead. But
wow,
you would think, right?
But apparently they live on like Methuselah.
Right.
So that first caller, if he knows some names, call back and start naming them.
Come on in. Yeah, exactly.
Start naming them. Yeah. That's all I had to say.
No, I think it's a great point. Yeah.
Absolutely. Appreciate you out there.
Thank you.
All right, 601-485-9191. I think fair point. So let's go back to the phone line here on Mornings of Meridian. Hey, caller, good morning.
Yeah, your previous caller probably was correct at a point in time in our history. Now the problem is not the individuals. The biggest problem is you've got the EMBDC, you got the county, and you got the city. You got three people that's got to agree on something. Everybody's pulling in a different direction. I've said it over and over again over the last 6 or 8 months. You've got to be on the same page.
Well, and caller, that's when we had the gentleman that called up a few minutes ago talking about the Golden Triangle.
Right.
Look what they're doing, working together.
Yeah.
And look what's happening.
I've said
they're taking off.
I've used them for example for months. That's an example of a individual that does not care exactly where something ends up landing. It's going to benefit the greater good if it comes to Clark County, Lauderdale County, Newton County, Kemper County. It's a greater good. People are going to choose where they live. The days of living in the same place you work is it's probably over. I mean, it's not uncommon for people to drive from Meridian to Canton, Meridian to Vance, Alabama.
Yep.
I mean, the workforce does not exist in any of these places where these industry has came. If you look at like Vance, Alabama, all they had was a stop sign over in Vance, Alabama, when Mercedes landed.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Columbus here recently with the aluminum plant.
Yeah.
Well, there was, and I use this example, there were not 1,000 people sitting around Lowndes County or Oktibbeha County waiting for an aluminum plant to open. Those people move there, drive there. You know, you build it, people will come.
Absolutely.
So I think that the individual guys, let's talk about naming individuals. That probably has passed for the most part. You know, the problem is you got to get everybody on the same page, and everybody's got an economic development person in these counties surrounding us as well.
Mm-hmm.
So keep in mind, Columbus, the Golden Triangle consists of West Point, Columbus, and Starkville for the most part.
Right.
Okay, that's 3 areas. So if you had one official person or unit to solicit industry, we would be a whole lot better off than having multiple agencies. You know?
Right.
Hey, and the second thing I would point out, using Meridian, you know, when a prospective industry is coming in, they come in and look around before they ever announce to anybody, whether it's the economic development, the city, the county, whoever. They've already been here, okay? So making a good impression is already over. So when they pull in, you know, off the interstate and we've got buggies and homeless people at every light, that's probably a non-starter, okay?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, and look at all the trash that we have.
You know,
do y'all pay attention to the trash?
I'm glad you brought that up because every single day when I come up here to the radio station, I take the old exit there by Sam's, and there's that one homeless person with garbage upon garbage upon garbage, and that's the first thing you see when you hit that exit right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's well, what do you think the first thing that prospective people with the industry see?
Yeah.
If you see it.
Yeah.
So they definitely see it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? We might get used to it because it's been there a long time, but it sticks out like a sore thumb to somebody that's not familiar with the area.
Absolutely.
Anyway, listen in, guys. I missed most of the show, but I could kind of tell what y'all have, you know, callers have been touching on. So
yeah, we referenced
anyway.
we referenced an article earlier this morning for the Magnolia Tribune. They had laid out a $7 billion investment in business and industry all over the state, and that's where this whole conversation started. And of course, we said it's amazing that a lot of that industry is up in the Golden Triangle area, west of here over in Madison, Alcorn County, Grenada County, Lamar County. But it seems like on the board, the little sliver of East Mississippi is not anywhere to be found. Blank.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if anybody's mentioned it, and I know this would surprise people, but none of those places you named even come close to offer what we have here as far as infrastructure, interstates, airports, railroad. None of those places that you name have a combination of what we have in East Mississippi. But guess what? We don't have a damn thing to show for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Unbelievable.
Listen in, guys.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, and I've got an article here that talks about the last 10 years in the Golden Triangle.
Oh, 10 years. Okay, what you got?
10 years, $4.6 billion in private investment, generating 5,600 jobs. 10 years. 5,600 jobs. $4.6 billion in private investment. That's the Golden Triangle.
And how many manufacturing jobs have we had here in East Mississippi in that time period? Just asking.
If I would hazard a guess, I might say, well, not many. I know we've probably had a few, but you know, in the hundreds, maybe. I don't know. But how much? Maybe I'm being kind. But how much in private investment as well? I mean, you know, a few $100 million. I mean, that's if that.
Yeah.
So,
wow, that's a big 10 years.
10 years, $4.6 billion. And obviously, that's an average of $460 million per year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the phone line. Hey, caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, a twofer today. Okay.
It is. I watched the televised opening or celebration of that plant in Noxubee County.
Yes, sir.
The wood product.
Yes, sir.
and I noticed there in the crowd was Skip Skaggs. That would be Bill Skaggs' son
Yes, sir.
with the Mississippi Development Authority.
Absolutely.
And I talked to him at one time. This has to do with the Mississippi-Alabama Kewanee super site that is still in the woods out there. I asked them at the EMBDC about it, and they said it wasn't their project. It was the state's. So I talked to somebody that had real good experience about development and has and lived and participated in various parts of the nation in doing so. He suggested that I call the state and speak to the individual there in charge of the industrial parks. Mm-hmm. And there's numerous ones around the state. His name was Monty Montgomery. And I told him my interest was in the Kewanee mega site out there, super site.
Right.
And wanted to know my question that I was advised to ask him. Who has control? And he said, well, I'll have to get back with you.
Of course he does.
That's
He
a good
did.
question.
And
yeah.
the answer to that is nobody. Some individuals around here
Passing the buck,
went
man.
out to the landowners that one of your previous callers said you got landowners all over the place. Well, they own all the land all over other places. But these local individuals went out there and got first options from the pig farmer or the gardener or whoever it may be, to where they could flip that land. You see, a pig farm becomes industrial property.
Wow.
And if there was controls there, which was the $50 question, then they would begin to put investments in there, such as things we call ring roads and energy sources. At one time, they were going to run a gas line out there. Maybe they did. But the answer is controls. That's another piece of flat property, like that flat one that's out there by the Highway Patrol Department. You know, there's a lot of places like Birmingham that is in the mountains and on hills, and they don't seem to have any problem having a large, thriving businesses going on.
Yeah, interesting.
Dirt work's good to be in if you got machines on dirt.
Exactly.
Well, thank you.
All right, appreciate you, sir.
Appreciate you.
Bye.
I just love how that ended up right there. Be like, let me call him. It's like,
I don't know.
I don't know either. It's like,
yeah.
it's kind of
I
like
don't got an answer for
It's
you.
kind of like when you go shopping. It's like I don't know that. Let me go ask this, and they don't know either. And it's just like, oh my gosh, you know. So.
Right. Just make up a price for it or something.
485-9191 is our number. But first, before we take our next commercial break to pay off the rest of our bills, let's talk about our friends down at Purvis Business Machines.
That's right. Jerry and Betty Purvis been doing it since 1979. Anything you need for a business machine, lease return color copiers, save up to 85% on those. Like getting a brand new machine.
It is.
For just 15% of retail. Of course, their big thing is connectivity. You know, they got networking guys, and they will connect all of your computers, your tablets, your phones to that printer, scanner, copier. And so, you know, it's just kind of, they make it so easy. All you got to do is go to their website, gopurvis.com, or visit them on their showroom, 4505 Highway 39 North. You know where they are. And give them a call, 601-693-COPY. That number's easy to remember, 601-693-COPY. And what I like about Purvis is their motto, service not excuses.
There
since
we go.
1979.
All right, we're going to take a break and pay off the rest of our bills. When we come back, we'll touch on some other stories here before we get out of here and let Glenn Bake take over. And we'll be right back in just a few. All right, we're about to wrap things up here on the show in just moments, but we need to stop for just a moment and thank our friends down at Trucker Supply. Christmas clock is a-ticking, and you need to go by and see our friends at Truckers.
That's right, 25 days.
Woo!
Man, it's ticking, and I think it's getting faster. The ticks are getting louder. Trucker Supply, one-stop shop for all your tools. You want to get that special someone, something for their shop, something for the vehicle, whatever it is, they've got it down there, Trucker Supply. They got Knipex tools, which are like channel locks on steroids. They would pump you up. A full room of Milwaukee tools. Everything they make, they've got it there, Trucker Supply. Of course, that's cordless power tools, saw drills, impact drills, sanders, grinders, cutters, routers, grease guns, you name it. If Milwaukee makes it, made right here in the state of Mississippi, then Trucker Supply carries it. And, of course, they've got Yeti, everything you need for Yeti, which make great Christmas gifts. So go see them down at Trucker Supply, 519 Highway 19 South. You know where they are, truckersupply.com. Check them out.
A couple of other news notes we'll hit on real quick before we get out of here in just moments. Yesterday, Nikki Haley got a big super PAC yesterday. Americans for Prosperity Action, a super PAC backed by billionaire Charles Koch and a network of wealthy conservative donors from across the country, announced it was endorsing Nikki Haley for president. The senior advisor for the Action Committee issued the endorsement memo of Haley noting, and get this, 75% of, this is what they're saying, 75% of Republican primary voters said they are open to supporting a candidate other than former President Donald Trump. That's according to the folks
open to it. Okay.
Open to it. So big endorsement there. I said it was tens upon tens of millions of dollars that's going toward Nikki Haley in this super PAC right
So
here.
25% are not open to that. They're like, it's a Trump or nobody, or I'm not voting.
Yeah.
Or I'm voting Democrat.
Of course, the
not.
first votes... the first caucus, of course, will be always Iowa. It'll be right around the beginning of the new year, and then we'll be into that cycle.
Cold up there now.
Absolutely.
That time of year.
So that was a big news note from yesterday. You're going to love this story. Taylor Swift.
Oh, God.
I can't believe this.
Okay.
Harvard and the University of Florida, SEC.
Yep.
They, starting in the spring, this coming up spring semester, both those universities will offer studies on Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift and Her World will be the name of the course, a musical storytelling with Taylor Swift and other iconic female artists, and it will be a course credit at Harvard and the University of Florida.
And, you know, when the CTE thing, the debacle was going on, we were talking about, you know, what's the point of a college education? And I think that's making our argument right there.
You're right.
God, that's ridiculous.
So,
you know, how would you? You know, Harvard, I mean, is not a cheap tuition. Is
No.
what is it, $60,000 a year? Something
Right.
ridiculous. So for each semester course that you take,
Right.
it's probably like $10,000. You know. Yeah, okay, whatever. I don't know what to say about that.
I saw that yesterday, and I was like, wow, we really hit an all-time low. So.
Well, once you think we hit the all-time low, we go lower.
Yeah. Somebody will say,
you go low, we go lower.
Somebody will say, hold my beer, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And also, real quick, college football playoff 4 was announced last night. The final playoff 4 before we get into conference championship weekend. The Georgia Bulldogs still holding on to the number 1 spot, followed by Michigan at number 2. Washington goes up to number 3.
Yep.
And Florida State is back into the playoff 4 after their victory over Florida, while you have Oregon at number 5 and then Ohio State at 6. So they dropped from, I believe they were at 2 or 3 down to 6.
3, yeah.
And then you follow that up with Texas and Alabama, and everybody else behind them is kind of irrelevant.
Right, and of course Oregon and Washington, big the game. That's going to be the deciding. Although Louisville and Florida State is going to be a good game
well,
too. So
bottom line here is the only guarantee we're going to have going into Saturday is the winner of the Oregon Washington game, which will be played on Friday night. They're going to play that on Friday night. We'll get one of the 4 spots, I think.
They should.
They should, because Washington is 3. If they win, I think they're going to be
Alabama
in.
beats Georgia. What happens then? Do they both get in? You know, and that's the twist.
That's what I love about this stuff. It's the what ifs and what ifs and what ifs. But the only guarantee is going into Saturday, the winner of Oregon Washington will get in.
Oh, the guarantee is Michigan's going to stay in.
Yeah,
I mean they play Iowa, don't they?
Yeah, they got to beat Iowa.
Yeah, okay,
so.
well I think that's not a gimme, but it's.
Other SEC schools in the top 25 rankings, you got Missouri at number 9. They've had a heck of a season.
Sure have.
Ole Miss at number 11, LSU at 13. And then as you go down the list here, Tennessee at 21 is the only other SEC school in the top 25. So that is a look at the rankings as we get ready for conference championship weekend. And speaking of that, we will have the SEC championship game right here on WALT on Saturday at 3 o'clock between the Tide and the Georgia Bulldogs. And, of course, pregame will start at noon here on WALT. So
who are you liking that one?
Probably leaning toward Georgia. I mean, neither one of them looked great last week.
No.
But Georgia, until they're beat, Alabama's tough to pick against. But
either one of them.
You just kind of lean a little bit toward Georgia.
Woo. I mean, he's played great last few games. So we'll see.
It wouldn't shock me either way he wins that one.
You're right.
It's one of those
Kinda
games.
Like, okay, it went that way.
It would not shock me either way.
But the game I think is Oregon and Washington. That is intriguing. And Bo Nix is having a great year, possibly a Heisman year. So,
absolutely.
yeah.
So, but that's going to wrap up the show. It's been a busy one today. I appreciate all you folks checking in on the phone line. Roger allegedly will be back tomorrow.
So he says.
And we're going to have a lot of guests on the show tomorrow. We're going to have the Sailor of the Year. NAS Meridian is going to be stopping by to see us. First Class Darius Cummings, Master at Arms, will be on the show tomorrow, along with Lieutenant Roy Fisher from the Salvation Army. So be a busy, busy show tomorrow.
Ringing the
Charles,
bells.
appreciate you as always, and we'll
definitely
see you next week.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right, folks, have a great day. And Glenn Beck is next, followed by Clay and Buck, the great Sean Hannity, and Joe Pags on your drive home. And what do we always say? Buy local.